Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Gennady Golovkin chops down, breaks down and stops Ryota Murata in Japan, in which was a really tough middleweight unification fight. Tremendous showing by both men. They put on a hell of a show, thoroughly enjoyed it. Honestly, that's the most fun I've had watching boxing in quite some time. Aside from the Michael Conlan-Lee Wood fight, which I really enjoyed, this fight is right up there for recent fights. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great show by both men. Where do we start with this one? Of course, this was a unification fight. Gennady Golovkin, the IBF champion. Ryota Murata, the WBA champion. Both guys putting their belts on the line. And both guys, fought like their lives depended on it. Golovkin, in my opinion, looked pretty good in round one. He was boxing primarily off the jab, taking a half step back, managing distance, and yeah, he was really picking that jab well. Similar to the David Lemieux fight, Murata was actually trying to apply pressure. He landed a couple of good right-hand power shots in the first round, but he was falling short with his own jab, and Golovkin just outboxed him in the first round. But Murata was looking dangerous, his right hand was looking powerful. Rounds 2 and 3, I felt Ryota Murata looked really good. He did a great job of meeting Golovkin in the centre of the ring and getting his respect, in particular with his left hook to the body. Murata landed a series of left hooks to the body, especially in the second and third round. They were shots that looked like they were getting to Gennady Golovkin. I felt Golovkin's body language in the second and third round was looking a bit ragged, to be honest, and I felt he was feeling those body shots. Murata was also successfully mixing it up with his left hook to the head and overhand right, and quite frankly, in my opinion, he was doing the far better work in the second and third round, really taking it to Golovkin, and essentially he was beating Golovkin at his own game. So for me, rounds 2 and 3 were clear Murata rounds. And honestly, when you was watching those rounds, you thought to yourself, is Golovkin now washed? Because he was looking uncomfortable and a bit slow. His feet were looking slow. He wasn't picking his shots that well. He looked ragged. He looked disjointed. And yeah, I was thinking to myself, is Father Time finally catching up with him? So after 3 rounds, I had Murata up 2 rounds to 1. Rounds 4 and 5, from recollection, were much more competitive, where both guys were having success. Golovkin would have success with his right uppercut left hook combination. His jab, of course, was rocking the head back of Ryota Murata, but Murata was still finding his overhand right with great regularity. His left hook to the body was still finding the mark on Gennady Golovkin, and he was having success. And after 5 rounds, I actually had Ryota Murata winning 3 rounds to 2, though it could have been 3 rounds to 2 the other way. It was a very competitive fight at this point. Round 6, though, was the turning point. In the 6th round, Golovkin, in my opinion, came out with much more purpose, started very aggressively in round 6, and he actually landed an overhand right towards the start of round 6, and it sent Murata's mouthpiece flying. It knocked the mouthpiece out of his mouth. And for me, after that point, Murata never really looked the same again. I think he was hurt by that shot. Probably a lot more hurt than he was letting on. And round 6, Golovkin dominated behind the jab, picking some really good shots. He was firing around Murata's guard with looping shots, and he was offering much more lateral movement. His feet were looking much better. He was stepping off Murata, stepping around the side, being more elusive. Everything round 6 onwards about Golovkin looked better. His feet, his accuracy, his hand-eye coordination, his reactions, everything about Golovkin looked better round 6 onwards. Because honestly, in the first 5, he was looking slow and old. But yeah, round 6 onwards, he stepped it up, he found his rhythm, and he boxed really well, in my opinion. He looked really good from round 6 until the fight was stopped. Round 7, Gennady Golovkin completely outboxed Ryota Murata with his jab. He was actually boxing a little bit on the back foot in round 7, keeping the distance really well, snapping the head back of Murata with the jab, splitting the guard with the jab and firing shots around the guard, uppercuts through the middle, and the occasional body shot as well, picking some really good work, really good shots, and he was starting to dissect Ryota Murata. Round 8, Murata was hurt. I think Golovkin caught Murata with an overhand right to the top of the head. Murata spent a lot of time in round 8 on the ropes, sustaining punishment to body and head. Occasionally he would try to fire back and was landing on Golovkin, but it appeared that the power on his shots was starting to fade, and yeah, Golovkin realised that. Round 9 was where the fight ended, and round 9 was quite dramatic. Golovkin started round 9 extremely well, hurt Murata almost immediately in round 9, and essentially proceeded to put an absolute beating on Ryota Murata, catching Murata with right hands to the head, where Murata would visibly grimace in pain, sitting against the ropes, trying to soak up punishments. The referee was having a close look, but Murata got through the early onslaught in round 9 and actually came back with some good shots of his own, pushing back Gennady Golovkin. But, you know, Murata got a bit too gung-ho and walked into a looping right hand by Golovkin, dropped. Murata was badly hurt, he got dropped, and the corner, they then threw in the towel to stop the fight. And honestly, I think it was a good decision. Round 6 onwards, Murata's body language had completely changed. He was soaking up a lot of punishment, and he was starting to get hurt. The knockdown was heavy, so I think the corner made the right decision. But Murata put up a really good fight. He gave Golovkin a lot of problems in the first 4 to 5 rounds, and yeah, really enthralling fight. Golovkin, a unified middleweight champion at 40 years old, so congratulations to him. A great achievement. And Golovkin, listen, he still has something in the tank. He's definitely not what he was, there's no doubt about it, but I certainly wouldn't describe him as a washed-up fighter or a shot fighter. Past his best, yes, but is he still a good fighter? Absolutely, because if he wasn't, he would have lost this fight. Yeah, really enjoyable fight. Golovkin, a middleweight unified champion at 40 years old, and it appears that we are going to get the Canelo Alvarez fight next. Does he have a chance in that fight? I mean, based on what I saw in this fight, if he could start the fight like he did in round 6, then yeah, he's got a chance. When you have that sort of power, you always have a chance, but honestly, based on the whole fight and what I saw from Golovkin, I would make Canelo a substantial favourite in the trilogy fight. But we'll see what happens, you know. Maybe Bivol beats Canelo, and if that happens, then, you know, that fight more than likely is off the tables. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, share your thoughts below. What did you think of this fight, and what did you think of Gennady Golovkin on a whole? To me, it looked like 2 Golovkins. The Golovkin in the first 5 rounds, and then Golovkin from round 6 onwards. So it's a hard one to judge. But anyway, share your thoughts below. Being your guy, Del Boy. Peace.